Hello everyone, and welcome to the Slaves to the Grind Newscast. Today we are here playing some more Diablo. It's me, Ludeer, and it's Colonel RPG, and we're going to talk about some news today.
News. So yeah, Sundays are going to be the days where we talk about news and stuff that has been going on over the weekend. Not the weekend. Oh, again, I said this last time. So I'm going to start off by, straight to business. We're not in the right place, are we?
Yeah, we need to go to the teleporter, right?
Yeah. So big news for, what was it? Shucklefish? Shucklefish, I think is the name.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So big news for them because they announced that since the release of Stardew Valley, they have sold over 1 million copies of the game on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk about Stardew Valley a little bit. Have you ever played Stardew Valley yourself?
I have not played it too much. I've only watched it because, well, there's been a lot of Let's Plays of it on YouTube and on Twitch. So I've mostly seen it, and I didn't really have the time to try it out for myself.
Yeah, I played it a little bit, but I don't have the game, so it's like 3-4 hours maybe of gameplay that I got to play. But yeah, Stardew Valley is one of those things I think that sold so well, and people like it so much. It's not really about, it is about the game. It's a good game for the genre. It's for those of you who haven't seen, probably are not going to be a whole lot of people, but for those of you who haven't seen or played the game, it's basically sort of an RPG where we have a farm and just plant stuff, and you can go on adventures into the mine and kill a bunch of stuff. But there's also the social aspect of the game, so it's a kind of game that incorporates a lot of gameplay styles. So you just focus on farming, or you just focus on talking to people and doing their quests. And the thing that I think, in my opinion anyway, about the game that really struck a note with people, with the public, is that it's such a success story. It's just the developers. This is a game that was done by a single person. All the art and all the gameplay, all the music. So it's a single guy. I don't know his name though, because I'm not that into the scene myself. But it's a single guy. So where are we going right now? To the north?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's a single guy, and it's just a success story. I think Stardew Valley was, like one of those things like Minecraft, like Faster Than Light, FTL, like recently Undertale. Undertale was also a very big success story, done as well for, I think, a couple of guys. Don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't remember. I think I've read something about it because, yeah, it's been on some articles on, some sites.
Yeah, so what do you feel about the game from watching it, I guess?
From watching it, I feel like it's having the kind of, I guess you can say it like the Minecraft formula, where you have a lot of stuff to do, which is like building with Lego, really, where you have this, you can build your own stuff and really just go out there and not really have a goal. You can just go out there and you can just play it with. It doesn't really matter. You don't have any stressful goals. You don't really have anything that is like intensive that requires a lot of attention.
Yeah, I like it how I watched it. Actually, I'm watching like 3 Let's Plays of it right now. And the one that I started watching, the first one that I started watching was Splattercat Gaming's Let's Play. Some of you guys in the audience might know about him. He's a fairly small. I say fairly small. It's got like 300,000 subs, but it's not like, I don't know, PewDiePie or anything. But
yeah, exactly.
I really like how Stardew Valley just lends itself to him just chilling around and talking about stuff. Just giving his opinion about random stuff like fishing. He talks about stories that he has in fishing, and it's like the kind of game where you just chill and contemplate whatever you're facing at the moment. Yeah. And I really like that. For a Let's Play. For myself, when I was playing though, I don't know. I just didn't. I guess I didn't get too far into the game, but it's like, it's too much about mechanics that I don't really enjoy myself. So even the fighting, which is probably what I would like the most, the exploration. Because for me the game is like 3 or 4. No, like off the top of my head, like 3 main aspects. You want to take that, Trent?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it. I need it.
So yeah, it's got like 3 main aspects. You got the finding and exploration.
Yeah.
So exploration itself, like scavenging, and you just go around and pick up stuff, pick up books that are buried in the ground and stuff like that. You have the farming itself, and that's so you got farming. You have clear out the fields. You have, like even animal farming and stuff like that. And then you have another big aspect. I think it was really well done, actually, and really deep as well, which is the interactions with the people. Not sure if you've seen how deep that actually is. It's like
some of it I've seen, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got their own, schedules. They change depending on the season, depending on the day, depending on whether it's raining. Everybody's different. And like they have their own gifts that you can give them and stuff like that. They have their own backstories. And that is interesting. It doesn't interest me that much because it's not, it's just not my kind of story. But it is really, really deep in that regard. So those are the three aspects of the game, and none of them really, matter that much to me. It's just my personal opinion. It's not even an opinion, it's just my personal taste. But I see the game is very, very well done. It's really stable, really, really polished everywhere. Except for one thing that I hate, but I'm gonna touch on that later on when we talk about another game.
Okay.
That we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit of a rant for that.
So yeah, I feel like, as you mentioned, that since it is like focusing on so many points, it feels like compared to a game which would only have like 2 of those points, that it's not focusing really intensively on those like mechanics. So like a game like The Sims, where you have a lot of interactions, you have a lot of stuff like that in between.
Yeah.
And in this game, it tries a little bit to take everything in, and I think that it might be good, but at the same time it might be bad if you're not interested in all that, because that takes away a little bit from the other.
It takes, yeah. I think
of the game, I guess.
I think actually going back to the success stories that I talked about before, I'm gonna give you this beer just in case you want it. So like not FTL actually, Undertale. So Undertale was basically a remake. It's not a remake, but I guess it's like a very, very heavily inspired on another game that came out for Game Boy Advance, I think, back in 1996 or 1995, called Earthbound.
Oh yeah.
Never played it. Never played Undertale myself, actually. But I think that since it's just building on a legacy that it's already there, very much like Diablo itself, actually, now that we're playing it. It's building on a legacy that's already there, and it can, if you don't deviate from that legacy, I mean, it's kind of like obvious that you're gonna succeed, really.
Yeah.
So, and actually this connects to some games that we're gonna talk about later.
Yeah.
So maybe this newscast is gonna be all about that, the legacy and whether or not you should follow it. But yeah, so Stardew Valley really follows the legacy of what's the name? Harvest Moon, I think.
Harvest Moon, yeah.
Yeah, I played it a long time ago, but I don't remember it. People say that we need to go to that dungeon to the north, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
People say that it's very much like... Have you played Harvest Moon?
I don't remember. I think there's been a couple of sequels as well, if I remember correctly. So it's not like... it's been like 2 and 3 or something. And I think I played one of those, if I remember correctly, or else I'm mixing it up with some other game. But I think I have. I did play a lot of Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games when I was growing up. So a pretty big chance that I might have picked it up.
Yeah. Harvest Moon, I don't know about Harvest Moon, but about Undertale, since it's just such a Japanese inspired game. I did play, I'm not a very big fan of Japanese RPGs myself. It's just, I never got into the scene, I guess. As I said before, I do like anime, Japanese anime, but I like the stories. I guess the style is fine. It's not. I'm not really too much into, teenagers going around and saving the world. It's not. I mean, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
My favorite anime series is a series called Madoka Magica, and it's about it's about a 6-year-old girl saving the world. So it's ironic in a way. The actual story is ironic because it's very conscious about what it is, and it's not. It's like magical girl. You could think it's like, I don't know, Sailor Moon or something.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not made for kids. That is not made for kids. And I think for me, it's my favorite of all the anime series. Yeah. Just because it's so daring in that regard. It's just, you're gonna see, oh, this is for kids. No, it's not. But never got into JRPGs myself. So Undertale, the thing that really struck, and I guess I'm saying Undertale, but I guess every Japanese RPG, I guess. I think the style and the fans really play big deal. Knowing the fans is very important for you to make a game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because it's just so nuanced how you're gonna make a story that's good for them, or yeah. But speaking of stories and speaking of games that are very nuanced and people hate and love, speaking of games in general.
Yeah, true.
Today we have apparently I don't know about this. So today we have some big event about a very big game. You could say the biggest game out there. Maybe.
Yeah, I think the biggest online game right now, I think. With most concurrent players, at least, over the world. It is League of Legends. It is the summer finals, I think they're called. Which is both the ENA, the North American, and the European finals are today. League of Legends is a game which lies close to heart to me, because that is the first PC game that I played with my friends. They were console gamers, and I did have to buy an Xbox just to play with them. And then finally they moved to PC and we could play some League of Legends because it was free and all that stuff.
Oh.
So it holds a dear place in my heart. So I like it, and yeah, that's why I'm so interested in it. And it has taken its way into the esports scene, and it's probably the most watched game when it's finals and with tournaments right now.
You said it's summer finals. Is it like a summer tournament, or it's like the pre-finals to some bigger tournament?
So it is actually, now that they've been going at it for a couple of seasons here, it is actually getting quite not complex, but it is a little bit more than what it was before. Before it was just only tournaments, and you had something that was called Worlds, which was the World Tournament. And Riot is the game company owning the game, and they are a little bit different from like other like Blizzards and stuff. They are actually giving up the game, the tournaments themselves, or organizing them. So what they've done is they've done it like you have in most sports. You have a season. You have summer season or a spring season, and you have summer season. It's called.
Oh, I see. I understand. It's like in Diablo 3. They also have.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
they
a
have the
different
same
game,
season there. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have it the same way there. And also the way it works is you're gathering points over the season. So you have still the World's final, the World's tournament, and you gather points during your regular season to be able to qualify and be able to take a place in the Worlds. And this is just the getting as many points as you can. So there's going to be more regular seasons before the World seasons. But this final here is very hyped today, because it is between the top rivalries in North America.
Oh. So
I'm not going to talk about the European too much, because I'm not too much into that. I do know about Origin and Fnatic is not in it anymore, and Origin is, so hope they win, but I'm not too much into the teams there.
So it's like different areas for, different tournaments for different areas?
Yes, so
it's Worlds, like the Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, so the Worlds is for everyone who qualifies there, and then you have the Chinese scene, you have the North American scene, you have the European scene, and you have the South Korean scene as well. And then you have something that's called wild cards, where it's like you have all the smaller regions compete with each other, so like Turkey, Brazil, I think Taiwan is also in there or something.
Yeah.
So those teams can be really from anywhere where you have a team competing that is not in the bigger regions.
Okay.
So what I'm focusing on is the North American, because I like the scene, and it's a lot of attention around the scene actually, and a lot of strong personalities in there. And I was following a lot of personalities before, but now they've grown too old and had to retire at like age of 23 or something, so they're not playing anymore.
Too old? I mean, are they forbidden from playing?
No. They've just said that they don't want to play anymore on professional level.
They
so they
burned
go
out.
to streaming and said, yeah. And then they call it retirement, even though it's not really getting retired.
Well, if they make up a lot of money, that they could probably.
yeah. They kind of are. It's just they're getting the money out of it. A lot of money out of streaming.
It's a game that, any MOBA game really, and I'm talking in the broadest sense, doesn't need to be top-down. Like games like Counter-Strike, they're also MOBAs. It's just different gameplay style. But any MOBA game is really, really popular on streams and Twitch and stuff.
Yeah.
Are all, of those MLG gamers of League of Legends, are all those streamers as well? Or it's just...
So, it used to be like that. Like if you're a professional player, you do a lot of streaming, but it has moved more into if you're a professional player, you don't really have the time to stream. Because
you
you're practicing too much
yeah.
and playing the game too much on a practice level. So you're like, well, I'm burned out. I'm not gonna go and play and stream for 5 hours when we've been practicing for 8 hours or something.
Yeah,
And also they don't want to leak what champions they're practicing. So if they go into like the what is called solo queue where you play alone, you have to like play another champion because you don't want to show how good you are on that champion and stuff like that. So
it was the same back when Quake 3 was the big thing. We had, what was his name? Fatality, I think. The big MLG.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
I think it was. He even had like his own gaming stuff, like keyboards and mouses.
Like a brand almost. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the secrecy is very important. And I guess in strategy it's even more. It's just not about skill. It's about, oh man, we went to the wrong place. Should we go down there again?
Did we go to the wrong place?
Yeah, this is the pass. This is the level 2. We need to go to the exit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Do you want to go down here though for the loot?
Yeah, we can go for the loot. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was thinking about talking a little bit about the teams who are in the final this time.
Oh yeah.
Why it's so hyped.
Yeah.
So it is Counterlogic Gaming versus TSM, Team Solomid, and I'm a little bit biased because I've always been a TSM fan.
Didn't Counterlogic win last year?
They did win last year. TSM has been in every final of the North American season.
Oh really?
Yeah, and this season they had a super team, but they weren't able to perform, so they did the worst season ever. And then you have the playoffs now, and all of a sudden they're in the final, so that is one of the reasons why it's so hyped up. Nobody expected to see TSM here, really. They were expecting to lose to the in the semifinals versus a team called Immortals, because they have won every game. They have lost one game.
Well, was it a fluke, though? Did they win just on merit, or was it a fluke?
No, the thing is, in the playoffs, you're playing best of 3.
Oh.
So... In the regular season, you're playing only best of 1, so you don't really have the same, same abilities to perform after you've lost the game. It's like, okay, so it's only 1 game, so we lost that game.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of TSM, but TSM has always been very strong in best of series. So even if it's a best of 5 or a best of 3, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, it's
they've
like
always been very strong there.
They probably can adapt and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're very good at that.
Yeah.
Always been.
From what I've seen of League of Legends, though, it's actually I'm gonna let you finish what you're gonna say. Sorry.
No worries, man. It's been a ramble since I'm so interested in it. I'm a little bit too passionate about it. Maybe we'll find out, I guess.
Can't be too passionate about a thing you love.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. So TSM, they finished. They met the semi-finalist called Immortals, and they hadn't lost 1 game, and then they won that. So people are really happy to see them there. And CLG won last time, but one of their biggest like egos or personalities in their team
from Counterlogic,
from CLG Counterlogic Gaming, his name is Double Lift, and he switched around to TSM last season. So he is on the other team this time around.
Oh.
So the rivalries are even deeper this time around than they were when they met last time in the last final.
Yeah.
And also, TSM has only 1 member, remaining from last final. So they only had 1 guy who stayed in the team during the season. So they had a whole new super team, and
pretty cool.
But it went as it did. And CLG, I think they lost 2 members. So they replaced those guys with 2 new guys who haven't played on the professional scene.
It's a 4-member team, right?
It's a 5-member team.
5 members.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, isn't it 4 against 4, or is it 5 against 5?
It is 5 against 5.
Oh, 5 against. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about watching League of Legends.
Yeah.
A few years ago, when I didn't even watch YouTube Let's Plays, it confused me a little bit. I didn't criticize because everybody likes to play or to do something different, or it doesn't matter to me. But anybody likes to do. But it confused me a little bit how you could have, like in South Korea, like TV channels dedicated to just watching StarCraft gameplay and stuff like that. Because StarCraft is really, really big back in there. And it confused me. How is that really that good? But I never really, since I didn't care, I didn't watch it or anything. Then a couple of years ago, I watched my first competitive StarCraft 2 match on YouTube. And for those of you who have watched it, you probably, for those of you who have watched it and like it, you know exactly how good it can be. But for those of you who haven't never watched it, or if you haven't and you like it, I guess, watching one of those games and knowing how to play StarCraft, that's important. That's actually probably one of the big deterrents to getting into watching any game at all, any esports game, I guess. Just you need to know how to play the game to appreciate how it's being played. But when I watched it, it felt very much like watching like a soccer game, or anyway, like a tennis match, or like it's very competitive, and there's a lot of strategy because it's a strategy game, and there's a lot of like turnarounds, and just if it is a good game, it is a good game, and you can say, man, this was a good half an hour or whatever. It's like 45 minutes most of the games. But yeah, it's very enjoyable, and I watched a couple, and I enjoyed my time. I didn't get hooked though. I know how to play StarCraft competitively. I'm not good, but I know how to. I've won one match once, and it was a hell of a match. But every other one, I had a few very good matches online myself, and when I lost. But yeah, I've won one-on-one. I mean one-on-one. Three against 3 or 4 against 4 is easy to win, to fluke out wins because you just get carried.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, one-on-one is where it's at for me anyway.
Yeah.
But so I guess League of Legends, watching League of Legends is pretty much the same thing. It's like, do you watch you do watch League of Legends? You talk about watching League of Legends.
Yeah.
So it's very much like, I guess for me, do you agree with it? It's like watching a soccer game, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, as I said yesterday in the talkcast, I do watch a lot of sports, so I think that might have, with the power of editing. Yeah. So yeah, I do watch a lot of sports, so I think that might be why I am a little bit like more open to it, because I've watched stuff that I think is boring before, and then like, oh well, I'm open to it because I think it's something cool's gonna happen and stuff like that. Yeah. But I do think that if you compare it to a normal sport, or if you want to call it like that, names are so hard to...
Space sport.
Yeah, exactly. The thing I think is that you get a direct visual connection, that you see somebody like, oh, like he's jumping really far, or he's jumping really high, or he's shooting really hard and stuff like that. But when you're watching something like esports, you're like, okay, was that impressive? Did he do something good? Did he why are they so hyped up?
Ooh,
and
I found it.
I think, oh great.
Yeah.
I think that is a role that has to be filled by commentators or casters. Yeah. They have to fill that void where of somebody who's not understanding, they have to explain it to them, but at the same time keep it like entertaining. So I think they have a very hard standpoint where before it gets popular, or if it gets popular, they have a very big responsibility in order to make it more popular. So it's kind of like a moment 22. I don't know if it's called that in English, but it's called that in Swedish. Where
it is. It's a catch 22.
Catch 22. It's that's right. It's kind of like that.
We don't have that expression here.
Oh, we don't?
No, we don't.
Oh, it's a great one. I love it.
It is. But yeah, that kind of touches on what I said before. It's like it's tricky to start watching. Yeah. Simply because I'm gonna give you here an armor that you might want to use, and this as well. You might want.
Oh, perfect.
But it's kind of tricky to start watching if you don't know what's going on in the game, because I mean, if it's a shooter, and I guess that may be why Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament got the first e-sports badges and stuff like that, because it is easy to understand that this guy is shooting very well. But if it is a strategy game, you really need to know how to play the game, because unless the commentator is just going to be like, oh, we chose to go with... I'm going to talk about StarCraft here because I don't know anything about League of Legends. I've watched like 10 minutes tops. But he's going to be like, oh, we chose to go with Zerglings rather than with Hydralisks because of this and this. And if he goes on about the strategy itself, he's going to have to stop the video and talk about like 10 minutes and discuss and stuff like that. So the commentator is always going to have a hard time. Just, this is not when we need to go, but let's activate the waypoint.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the commentator is always going to have a hard time just bridging that gap. It's either going to be too technical and too lengthy.
Yeah.
And,
or too casual.
Or too casual, and people are not going to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tricky commentating, I guess. And anything, really. it's just. I mean, I'm not talking about Let's Play commentating because that's not as hard. But when when you're commentating on a game, it's really tricky, I guess, because it's just so much that can go on. You need to have your own opinions. You need to understand. Yeah. Oh, it's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, so talking about StarCraft and casting, I have actually had a YouTube career before this, where I casted StarCraft 2 games of my friend who was playing this really high level. I think the channel is still out there. It's called Tactical StarCraft, I think.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to take a look.
Yeah, it was. I was like in like, I don't remember what grade I was in. I was pretty young when I did it, so my English is very bad, but I tried my best. I tried to do what I could, and I had a real fun time doing it. So I think that might also have taken me into the esports scene as well.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, it's like that. You need to understand the game, and once you do, it's way easier to just get into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting in, yeah, sorry.
I think I'm happy talking about it. So you were gonna do the transition,
the segue.
But the segue. But I took it away from you.
No.
We're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on very jarringly. Dark Souls 3. See our theme though.
Yeah, great theme. Yeah, we're having it. We're doing it. Yay!
Yay! So what's up? What's up with Dark Souls 3? It was trending yesterday on Twitch. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that too. It has actually in 4 days, I think, it has a total of 500,000 ownerships on Steam. And the thing about Steam is it's not really like I don't think Japanese users buy it for Steam, and it hasn't like console views or anything. So, but still 500k is a great number for Dark Souls. And
yeah,
it's very...
I read that. I was like, it's not that much, is it?
No, but
yeah, you said before, it's such a niche game, I guess. It's just so hard, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a very special game, and the difficulty is still very high on it. It's not like it has gone down and become more casual. It's still staying true to what it was in the first and the second game.
Yeah.
But also, we were talking about this a little bit before, because we discussed what we want to talk about. And there might be some identity to Dark Souls, that it's winning a lot, that it's having a Dark Soul brand in it, and that is why it's getting some good sales right off. And also, I think we read somewhere that it has been named as the last Dark Souls game in the series. So
yeah, right. But yeah,
exactly.
It's a trilogy, I guess.
Yeah, the trilogy. So if you've been playing the series and actually following there is actually some lore, kind of very good lore, I'd say, actually in the game. So if you've been following that and you want to have a conclusion, you have to buy the third game as well. And then, I mean, we've seen games like Bloodborne come out as well, which is very much alike, but not really the same vibe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I never played either Dark Souls or Bloodborne. The closest game I played was a game called Severance a very long time ago. Severance was like it was basically an action game, top-down, where you severed people's heads and members and stuff. That's where the name of the game came from.
It had a name even?
Yeah, the name is Severance because you just sever everything. And it was very violent. It was the most violent game in there because you just could see all the bits flying off and stuff like that. This is back in 2001 and 2000. Actually, year 2000, I think. That's the closest game I played, but it's not really like Dark Souls, though. Dark Souls is more about the bosses, from what I've seen. I've seen people play it. But you said that the lore is very good. Tell me about the lore. Just give me an idea of what it's all about.
So, I think I've just been reading about it since I'm too bad at it, so I can't really play it. So I've been watching. I mean, most people who play it are not really interested in the lore. When you're streaming it, it's like you're looking at the skill of this guy. He's very good at the game, so they mostly focus on that. But so it is a very magical world where most people are undead, and the humans are very, very special. And there's lots of magic and lots of like gods and stuff who rule the world. And apparently there's the connection between the games are quite hard to find, and there's been a lot of theories about
why they connected,
how they are connected and why and stuff like that. And the cool thing I think about the third game is that I've been watching it, and I did actually recognize some places they were at from another. I don't remember if from the first one or the second one, but from the other games. And that way they've connected it up like that, but you don't really know why you're in the same place or what's up with that really. So I think it's a very special kind of lore that as I said, it's very cool, but you have to look into it because it's still also very complex, I think.
It's like I guess it's a little bit like Diablo itself, because it's not that much about the lore. You do get the story, but you need to look into it and you need to read the comics and read the books. There's a whole lot going on in this game. Like the guy we're fighting right now, Griswold, he was in the first game. But the game doesn't really tell you that much about him. I mean, it does. It gives you an idea of what's going on right now.
Oh, I need to throw that away. Nice.
But yeah, I like it actually. Yeah, I didn't know it was that good a lore. From what I've seen, it's a very Japanese game as well. Yeah. Because you know how I see a game in Japanese, or trying to be Japanese anyway. I look at the font. Oh. If it is serif, if it's like Times New Roman or something. Yeah. And if it's going like. Oh yeah. And I'm like, why do they do that? Why? Yeah. I don't know.
I guess it has something to do with the niche. They know what their audience likes, so they're like, oh, we're not gonna change this. They like this, so we're gonna keep it.
Why would anybody like that in particular? I mean, no, I'm not gonna play this game because the font is readable. Yeah, Arial is so good at reading. I don't like it. I like to not be able to see what I'm reading.
Yeah, that's the best reading, when you can't see what it is.
I know why the Japanese do that though, because it's got something to do with the way they code, or the encoding of the fonts they have. Yeah. Oh man, I just got this is a rare one, I think. Or is it any unique? No, it's a rare one. A brandish called Storm Rack. I think it's a rare. But yeah, the fonts really, it bothers me a little bit. I'll be honest. That's what I was saying before about Stardew Valley. It has the same exact thing.
Oh yeah.
Give me a normal dialogue system. Come on. And I say normal, I mean Western.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. But you're talking about the lore. It's kind of. If I think I would never start by playing Dark Souls 3 because it just. I wouldn't start by the end, really.
No, yeah.
I'll go to the beginning, and if it's cheaper, it's gonna be the game I start to play if I start to play it. People have been actually I got a couple of suggestions about playing Dark Souls on the channel because people like to see you struggling, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they want to see you in pain.
They would. They definitely would for sure. I'm not a very. I'm good with shooters ish, but I don't play them that much. But with action RPGs, I'm not that good, so I would struggle. Oh,
do you have Xbox controller though, so you can play them with a controller?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I don't have controllers. I do have one controller, but it's crappy as hell. It doesn't even have the nunchucks or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, not really a good proposition for me. Do you need a controller for Dark Souls though?
I've been playing with both, and I think it's easier and more fun to play with a controller. At least the first games, I don't feel like they were really made for being played with keyboard and mouse.
No.
It felt like they were made for being played with a controller instead.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. I need to buy one. Probably going to buy a Xbox 360 though. Because it's just, the controller.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have, is that the one you have? Or do you have
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
So let's see. I think there's not much more to say about it. It was a little bit shocking that it sold so well as it did. Might be because I'm not too much into the scene, so that might be why I was a little bit overwhelmed or shocked when I found out that it sold so well. Yeah. So instead, I think we're gonna move on, right?
We have another thing that we have another game that it's not the third, it's the fourth in the series, but that apparently is not being as well received as Dark Souls 3 is. And it's your theme, so I'm gonna let you name the game.
So yeah, the game we're talking about is the new Doom that is coming out. It's having the beta weekend this weekend, so I've been playing it a little bit and I've been watching reviews and stuff. And the reviews are not good at all. They're very, very bad. It says, I think, so on Steam it works like if the reviews are negative and it's...
you said the name of the game, didn't you?
Yeah, Doom.
Doom. Yeah, it's Doom 4. So
Yeah,
it's not
Doom 4. Yeah,
Doom
but it's
4.
called Doom.
Let's
for
call
some
it Doom
reason.
4. Should we?
Yeah, I think that we'll name it Doom 4.
Doom 4 forever. I don't know. I kind of irks me a little bit that they named it Doom, just Doom.
Yeah.
But I guess
I think one of the reasons they did that is because they want to go back to the old Doom feeling, and they're gonna have like the same enemies
right.
and stuff like that. Yeah, easy
right.
to make that.
Yeah, just name your game Doom, and you're gonna go back to the old feeling. That's easy. But yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I think that is actually what they had in mind. I think they wanted it to be a little bit like the old Doom games and stuff like that.
Wasn't it a reboot to the series, or like meant to retell the story? I guess.
Yes, I think it is. So that is one of the marketing stuff behind it, I think. But it has been getting like 75% bad reviews, and then it gets mostly negative on Steam, I think. So,
but it's just a multiplayer.
Yes, that is a weird thing. The multiplayer beta was out, the open beta, so everyone could play it this weekend. And there was like a lot of reviews raining in of people being mad at, I think, the game, but most people were actually mad about the price tag for some reason.
Is it that expensive?
No, I think it's regular AAA price. I think it's like $60.
Oh yeah, 59 or 60. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh yeah, but isn't it a normal game with a multiplayer to top? It's normal price tag, right?
Yeah, so I don't really know what if people, because well, mostly when this happened, and I think also people are getting a little bit mad because they are already releasing a season pass as well for $40. So if you want to get all the DLC for not full price, you buy that right now and you will get all them for free, or well, for $40, I guess.
Yeah, not free.
Exactly.
But well, how does that work? Do you stop being able to play after a certain amount of time with that amount of money? I never bought a season pass for any game. I have seen those, but I'm like, if I want to play, I'll pay for the game.
Yeah, so I only think that a season pass makes it so you pay $40, and whenever a DLC comes out, you can just download it and play it.
Oh.
So I think that's just like, okay, you're safing out and already buying all the DLC. So instead of paying for a DLC when it comes out, maybe paying $15 a piece for.
Oh, so you need to buy the season pass on top of the game?
Yes, so it's like $100 or something for the game if you buy all the DLC. Yes, that is a lot of money.
And the game is only in beta.
Yeah, so it's only in beta, and I don't really know. I haven't read too much about it, what they're talking about DLC and stuff, but. I mean, I think it's a little bit with going out with a season pass for $40 already, and not saying too much about the DLC, and already saying that we're gonna develop downloadable content for this later, but it's not gonna be in the full game that you're gonna buy right now. So, but we are gonna take money out of you later.
Yeah. So just give me your money, and then you're gonna give me our money later as well.
Yeah, and the thing with season passes as well is it's no guarantee that you're gonna get your money back. I mean, they could be smart and just like do 3 pieces for $30 instead, and then you would have paid $40 for it. Man,
that is so bad.
Yes, I think a lot of people was outraged by that, and they did bad reviews.
Don't use that. That's shrine, by the way. Let's. Do you have any higher tier gems?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna use this on this one then. Got a flawed diamond here.
Ooh.
But the way I thought season passes worked is you could, like, if it's a season pass like for 3 months or 6 months, you get to play the game during those 6 months, and after that time you lose the game and you can't play anymore, and you get all the DLC, all the, just play full game.
Ah, okay.
If that worked like that, I mean, I suppose it may work like that in some games. Oh, look where we are.
Oh, that's yeah.
It may work like that in some games, but if that worked like that, then a season pass makes total sense. If it's just a way to pre-buy the DLC for a cheaper price, I don't understand how that's good. How anybody would pay for that, because I don't know. I mean, if you have disposable income, I guess you pay for anything you want. It's just fine. But I mean, I'm not that kind of guy. I guess I'm a cheapskate, but I am. And I'm not sure if I need to be ashamed of admitting it or something.
No.
But I don't know. But some people are gonna criticize me for that. Some people are gonna say that I'm smart. But
yeah,
I think
that
I'm smart.
Instead. Don't say exactly. Name it, brand it as a smart guy instead of a cheapskate.
Yeah, I'm a smart guy. Yeah, that's got other connotation.
Yeah, but now that you say it about the season pass, I might be wrong on that.
Oh.
I did think that that is the DLC, but what you're saying is making so much sense that you're making me doubt myself.
Oh, I've never read anything about season pass, so if you have, then you're probably right. The thing is, I just jump to conclusions and season pass, okay, nah, not really, not interested.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep the games I like replaying games that I like.
Yeah, exactly. I do that as well.
We're replaying games that you like right now.
Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Love it.
Indeed. I actually did a side-to-side comparison like a year ago, maybe, with Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Back when the expansion came out.
Okay, yeah.
And I was playing Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 side by side. And just to see, I mean, is it nostalgia? Is it really?
Yeah.
Come on. And I tried it, and no, it's not nostalgia. This game's better. This game's better for me. Anyway, yeah, in my opinion. Let's not say that it's taste. It's my opinion that this game's better. So it's just
not with an objective view, just with our view, what we think.
But I wanted to say about Doom 4. I've not played the game. It's just not my kind of game. I'm not one to jump into betas, to be honest. Unless it's just the game that I want to jump into.
Yeah.
I jumped into Diablo 3 beta. I was lucky enough. But the thing is about the game, in my opinion anyway, it's just the gameplay. It's not... It's nothing to... It's got nothing to... It's closer to Doom 3 than to Doom 1.
Yeah, it is.
It's so slow. And you said that people were complaining about the setup things. You got like outfit your character pre-battle.
Yeah. So
you don't have pick-up weapons and stuff?
No, you have like one of the complaints as well, which I think is definitely valid, is they were calling it a Halo clone.
Oh.
And I said I've been playing it and I've been recording it. I'm gonna release it today on Shieldfield Sunday. I'm gonna release a couple of games, and I say it during gameplay. I say that this really reminds me of Halo, and I did play Halo when I grew up a lot with my friends. So for me that is a good vibe, but it is a Halo clone almost, and I get how people, they want to play a new game. They want the Doom feeling, they want the old Quake feeling, with the fast-paced combat and the jumping and getting weapons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But here you get like you choose your outfit before the battle. You can customize your weapons and armor with colors and patterns, just like Halo and Call of Duty. So it feels a little bit more like they tried in the beginning, but then they were like, well, Call of Duty and Halo make lots of money. Let's do what they do.
Yeah.
And let's hope that we make a lot of money as well. And I don't think people like that. I think that is one of the things that people reacted to as well.
Yeah, but I was gonna say Bethesda, but it's not Bethesda. It's ID. They bought the studio. It's not done by Bethesda. It's not the same guys that did Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout 3 and 4. Although Fallout 4 did get an input from the guys that made Doom 3 and IT, because the shooting is way better in Fallout 4.
Oh yeah, that's
just because they had the know-how with the new team. So you want to take those boots if you want to?
Yeah, I was trying to. I ran out and then I almost.
I don't have.
There we go.
I don't have space.
Yeah.
So the thing I think they failed to understand is that gameplay is king in every game, every single game. It doesn't matter. Fallout 4 is successful or Fallout 3 is successful. I'm talking about Bethesda now. Or Skyrim is successful. If it is successful, it will be successful depending on the gameplay. The art direction is important, the story is important, the setting is important, but people are gonna like it for the gameplay.
Yep.
And it's way more important in shooter games than it is in maybe games that RPGs maybe. You're gonna play an RPG like Arcanum, for example. Arcanum, it's a very old RPG. It's the first one from Troika Games.
Yep.
It's a 2001 game, and was regarded by many as the successor of, the spiritual successor of Fallout 2. Fallout 1 rather, because it was done by the same guys. And in many regards it is, but the gameplay, the combat itself is awful. It's terrible. It's one of the worst combat systems ever. And people like it because of the story. It's an RPG. It's different. But in a shooter game, if you can't just put lava over here and just skulls and just exploding meat, which is not really that violent anyway. People have been saying it's too violent, Doom 3 or Doom 4 rather. It's not. It's just not.
No, it's not.
Comparing to brutal Doom. It's just
Oh, yeah.
no, it's
Oh.
not. It's not brutal. That I mean,
What happened?
Doom 4 is easy peasy. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Did you get
When
the
did we
books, by
get
the
the
way?
week? Yeah, I did.
But yeah, it's just 3D changes things.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it was Bethesda that ordered ID to go, you know, just, focus on this, focus on that, because that's
Yeah.
what works, or we think works. And I think that maybe that was Bethesda, not ID, but what do I know? I don't really know. So
Yeah, I guess one thing that is easy to forget when you're talking about games is like we talk about how important stuff are, like gameplay is king and stuff, and I also one thing that is easy to forget is that it is a business. You have to make games for profit. You're making it to make as much profit as you can.
But look, the Stardew Valley. No,
Yeah.
It's about the profit as well. It could be about the profit. The guy just did it right, rather than
Yeah.
focusing on what sells.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things that is very hard to identify when you're doing games is what is the right thing to do, and what is it that makes money in a game.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just easier to go, let's look at Call of Duty and try to copy that. And rather than actually trying to, you know, be game designers and think what is going to go viral, like Stardew Valley.
What is going to be the next thing?
Yeah. Or it's not about it doesn't even need to be about the next thing. Because Blizzard, for example, they're successful as crap.
Yeah.
And they focus on gameplay. They look at what works and they say, okay, let's make this better. Let's make this polished. Let's say that we want to make a shooter, and we're gonna, you know, what works and what do people want to see. So that I don't really think that Bethesda is accustomed to doing business like that, to be honest. In ID, I don't think ID really has anybody left from the old times that can give an input in that.
I don't think so either.
So it's just, I think they focus too much from what I've seen anyway. I've not played the game again. So yeah, I'm not playing the game, I say again. So from what I've seen, I think they focus too much on what, you know, just what how it looks, and rather than how it feels to play.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's not good.
No, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they will take a stand and don't earn as much money, because people will say that, well, this is not what we want. This is not a good profit here.
Yeah, hopefully they hear that, but it's just from what I've seen, I actually googled criticism on Doom. Apparently, what the biggest criticism that Bethesda got back, and they noticed people saying, was that it's too violent. So yeah.
Really?
It's like,
why are you playing a Doom game if you're complaining about violence?
That's exactly what Pete Hines said. It was just shrugged. It was like, yeah, what can I say about it? And he's totally right.
Yeah.
It's not about. It's fine. You're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna play Doom if you're bothered with a little bit of blood. It's not too violent to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently they didn't really get other criticism out of what people said. So I don't know how vocal people have been in regarding just the gameplay itself. So it just might be me or us. But speaking of being vocal about games that are successful from Bethesda, this week, earlier this week, I think actually it was a week ago, RPG Codex, which some of my viewers might be familiar with, they released their review of Fallout 4. They take a long while to review games. Just that's how they go. They're not a mainstream news outlet, so that's how they do it. And they're also, for those of you who know RPG Codex, you can expect what kind of review that was. They were very vocal about a lot of things that I am critical of as well in Fallout 3. I want to touch on one in particular. I'm not going to touch about gameplay or dialogue or writing or cinematics or whatever. Everybody can have their own opinion about that. If you've played a game, you have your own. But what I really wanted to touch on before anything, I just want to ask you, Luda. You've read the review, and you've played Fallout 4 way more than I have. And you have loved Fallout 3, from what you say.
Yep.
And you've also enjoyed quite a fair bit of Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Even though, at least what you told me, it's not as good. Should I put it in those words? It's not as good as Fallout 3?
Yeah.
So
on some concerns, some matters are better, some are worse.
yeah. So I wanted to ask you. So I was curious, and this is why I brought this this theme, or this news rather. I wanted to ask you, from a fan of Fallout 3 and 4, and New Vegas as well, which is basically the new franchise of the franchise.
Yeah.
How do you, a lot of people are going to look at that review. It's a very critical review, very, 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 very critical review.
Yeah.
And you can just tell that the reviewer just didn't like specific parts of the game.
Yeah.
And he just went on about how he didn't like those parts. Like, he doesn't like the writing, doesn't like the lack of choices. It doesn't like the dialogue system, or, it doesn't touch too much on the combat, doesn't touch too much on the level design.
Yeah.
It just goes about the stuff that he didn't like. So it's a very critical review. So I wanted to ask you, back to the question. I wanted to ask you how you feel about when reading one of that review. Like, what's your honest opinion about the game and about the review itself? So kind of curious.
Yeah, so I really recommend anyone who has played it and not played it to go read a review, because it is really taking up a lot of good points that I agree with, and also some that I don't agree with, but most actually I agree with, and it's very critical, and it has every right to do it because it's bringing up very much valid points. So one of the things that I've noticed after playing and reading Game of Thrones and stuff like that, and watching new television and stuff, is that I don't enjoy games as much more where it is revolving around you, the whole world is revolving around you. And I think that these quests and stuff that you're doing in this game, compared to Fallout 3, where it's more about, sure, you are rescuing the world, but you're helping the world, but it does stuff around you. Here it's like everything is resolving around you. So that is a little bit about the quest that I don't feel like makes sense. And
they did touch about they talk about the quest design, like in regards to what I got out of it was, not what you're raising. The point you're raising is very valid, but what I got out of it was mostly just it's not very imaginative or creative. The quest design is very linear, doesn't have very lot of choices. So we probably need to use the waypoint, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So one of the things that I think if you're comparing New Vegas and Fallout 4 and Fallout 3, I think comparing Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas to Fallout 4, it feels like they took what was bad and made some of it better. Like the shooting has never been Fallout's great strength.
Yep.
And they made that good in Fallout 4. So that is one of the good things they did.
Yep.
They made it very, very nice to look at, very nice visuals also. That is something that has been both in Skyrim.
You think so? Yeah, I thought Skyrim looked way better than Fallout 4.
Oh, you did? I was just about to say that I don't think that Skyrim is looking well at all, and it didn't do it when it came out as well.
Yeah.
Well, not well at all. I'm not gonna be that critical. It does feel what it did when it came out.
Yeah, I might be being biased right now. Yeah. Last time I played Skyrim was with all the graphical.
Oh yeah. They've done some great job with the mods there.
I might be being biased. Yeah. But I didn't really think that Fallout 4 looked good. It's just their engine. It doesn't have shadows.
Yeah, it might be that.
So it's just I honestly hated how Fallout 3 and New Vegas look.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. But it definitely looks better. But
yeah. And that is one of the things they changed up. So they changed the shooting, they changed the visuals a little bit, and I think they did that good. That was something that was bad with New Vegas and Fallout 3. But then you had the great things like in New Vegas, you had the factions and all that, and tried to implement that, but they made it worse in Fallout 4. They made it real bad in Fallout 4, I think.
Yeah.
The factions and the wars, and that is one of the points that I liked in New Vegas. It felt like the factions were living around you. They were not living with you and deciding, are we gonna live on, depending on what you do. It felt like some of them would manage without you. And in Fallout 4, it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like everything is revolving around you.
Yeah,
and that is just my personal opinion. That I don't like that.
That was one of
they made it worse.
That was one of. I think that's just Bethesda for you, really. I don't really know why they did it even in Fallout 3. They got you. You were right in Fallout 3. They were a little bit more, less player centric, I guess.
Yeah.
But in Oblivion, what they did from Morrowind to Oblivion For those of you who don't remember Morrowind or Oblivion back when it came out, or have never played it, basically Morrowind is a game where you can't be everybody and you can't complete every quest, and it's just like you have to play the game more than once. Because there's the mages quest that actually the mages in the fighters guild and all that you can to some degree, but like the houses of the game, because there's different families, it's not feasible to complete every quest in the game because of each family is gonna block you out from another family. You can only be one, and there's 4. So yeah, basically, there's 3 actually, not 4. But they did away with that in Oblivion because they just felt like it was better, and. I mean, I can see where they're coming from, but, from a company standpoint, but from an RPG standpoint, that's not good. I just recently finished, actually a couple of hours ago when this podcast goes up, my last episode of Underrail. I just recently finished Underrail, and it's a game, speaking of the Codex, it was the RPG of the year in their top RPGs thing.
Ooh, nice.
And I liked it very much. Didn't like it as much as The Age of Decadence. But yeah, it was definitely a fantastic RPG. But the ending, it leaves so many questions open, and it can really tell that the game is all about playing again, because there were a lot of quests that I did and I couldn't do because I locked myself out of them. There were a lot of them. Very, very many. There's so many factions, and you just end up having to either kill them all, or they're not going to talk to you, or it's that kind of game. And I think from an RPG standpoint, it's awesome that there is that is. But I guess they're just doing the games for different kind of people, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's in my perspective when I read I like reading negative reviews. For any game, really. So any game, I like this game, or I like this series, or I like anything. I just go on the internet and I look up, this thing sucks, whatever it is. And, for example. And I like reading criticism, even if I've never played the game or whatever, because the criticism, I think, is way more important. Because if somebody complains about, like, let's say, for example, Underrail. For those of you who never play Underrail, it's top-down, turn-based exploration game, very old school. It's very combat-oriented. But for those of you, basically, it's basically like Fallout, the original ones, but maybe a little bit more combat-oriented, a little bit less interactivity with the world, I guess, because in Fallout 1 and 2 you could right-click and look at stuff. And, it's different. It's actually one of my favorite aspects of the gameplay, but what I was gonna say, so yeah, I look up negative reviews because I like reading them, because I see, like, for example, somebody's gonna complain that there is no map in the game in Underrail, and I read that and I say, okay, well, I like playing old school those turn-based dungeon crawlers, like in first-person view, where it didn't have a map and you had to write it down.
Yeah,
I like that. It's interesting. So if that's the biggest criticism, then the game must be good, maybe. Let's read more about it. And it goes like, combat is boring, it's turn-based, and perfect, this is the game. Instant buy, right? But, it works for me reading negative reviews. And whenever I read a negative review that I agree with, it's a little bit hard for me to understand how some people are just going to come around and just criticize the review itself for, you didn't play it right, or... this is just the usual criticism about negative reviews, really.
Yeah.
So
you didn't get it or something like that.
Yeah. Or they're doing this, or they need to make money, or all the usual stuff. There's plenty of threads all over the place about the usual stuff. So yeah, it's in my opinion, your attitude, what you're saying, being a level-headed, I guess, attitude towards the review. That's how I think it should be, and that's how I expect people to react. But apparently, some people don't. But it's in the internet, so
exactly. That is the way you have to expect if you're gonna be on the internet, because otherwise you're gonna be very disappointed very fast.
Yep, pretty much. But I think touching on Fallout 4, I played the game like 4 hours, maybe. I don't really remember. I got into, you had to kill a Deathclaw in the main quest. But that's not too far into the game, but I was playing around with the base building, and I broke it immediately. I played it on release, but I didn't play it on my machine, so it's like, I play a single play session.
Yeah.
And the shooting, it works. It's really, it feels tight, very tight. The mechanics of it. I didn't really like how it was so RPG-ish in the shooting because, you know, headshots didn't really count that much.
Yeah.
They have a lot of health, especially Deathclaw, it killed me.
Oh yeah.
But and I formed my early opinion about the writing and the dialogue system and the base building and all that. I'm not gonna touch on that. What I'm gonna touch on is the world design. And I didn't like the world design in Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 either. So it's like 200 plus years after the war, and there's still houses standing up. Let alone, I'm talking about normal houses. I'm not talking about the wooden houses that are still around. That's BS. But normal houses, they wouldn't be standing around. In Fallout 1 and 2, you just have the walls, as you should have. In some areas, you're gonna get roofs, but you can't really tell what they are. It's like they could be made of whatever. It's just roofs, but you don't have buildings with 2 stories. And that's just not a limitation of the engine, because the engine was tailor-made for Fallout 1. That there isn't a possibility. Everything is destroyed. It's like Mad Max. If you ever watched the movies, or I guess the latest one. I haven't watched the latest one though.
Oh, you should do. It's good.
I probably should, but it's just I didn't get the chance. But Fallout is Mad Max in the art direction. It is that. And Bethesda doesn't do that. They do, I don't know, Waterworld maybe. It's been a while since I watched that movie, but it's just, it's just that they hark so much about what was pre-war. It's so much pre-war stuff 200 years after the war. People act like the review touches on this, actually. That's why I'm saying this. They act like they are survivors of 200 years ago, and it's what some of them they are. They're ghouls, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's not what Fallout is about, and that's dumb. Why do you do that? Why do you have... and there's... Oh, they tell stories with the skeletons. That's dumb. What? Why would you do that? Because it doesn't make any sense to start with. And then after after the first couple of those, you're just like, oh, this guy's smoking the bathtub. How cool. That is cool the first time.
Yeah.
Second time, maybe. Then it stops being cool. There's a guy choking another guy. I saw that when I played.
The picture, yeah.
The guy choking another guy with skeletons, trying to get to the money or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see what you did there. Am I supposed to be amused? That's not a... I was giving it a chance, really, when I did it, but I really tried to. I mean,
yeah.
I kind of... I know it's not really my kind of RPG, and I'm a big fan of Fallout 1 and 2, so that's another minus for them already there for me.
Yeah.
But I tried to give them a chance. But why do they go on so much about the pre-war stuff? It's like that's what Fallout is about, and it's not. It's just not. I think I understand why they do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's the marketing. It's for the market. It's easy for people to connect with that. It's not easy for people to connect with a pile of dirt and a guy that's a slaver, and you need to try to a guy that's a slaver and is caring for his family while being a slaver. That doesn't happen in Fallout 1, in Fallout 3 and 4. It doesn't happen in Fallout 1 and 2, but that's a moral dilemma that it could happen, and it makes sense that it would happen. But they don't go into that sort of stuff. They don't go into moral dilemmas. They just, I don't know. They got too many engines working for them, in my opinion, doing the quests and the level design. My biggest complaint about Fallout 3 and New Vegas, not New Vegas so much, but Fallout 3 and 4, is the level design in regards to the map itself, because it's so hard to navigate.
Yeah.
It could be so much better, but it's just, that's my biggest complaint. As a game, not as a Fallout game, mind you. As a Fallout game, it's gonna be a lot of stuff. But as a game, it is that. And then the problem with the... I mean, in Fallout 3, you had, like, generators working with fuel.
Yeah.
200 years after the war. What is up with that? Fuel didn't exist. That's why the world ended. There was no fuel. There was
no fuel.
And
they were fighting over the fuel.
And that's why they... And then... I mean, yeah, I don't want to complain too much. There's a lot of things that I could complain about, but yeah. That's Fallout 3. That's the review. You guys go read it if you're interested. Tell me your opinion about the... Tell us. Not me. I'm not... I need to remember that I'm not alone in this.
Aw. I can remind you, hopefully. Talk a little bit about it sometimes. Hello, Colonel, I'm here.
I know. But yeah, tell us your opinion on the review. If you think it's fair. I personally don't think it's totally fair because it's just so much about the stuff that they didn't like. It's a good read for me, and I agree with Ludeer, and yeah, but it's... Anyway, let's move on. For more RPG news and more Fallout-oriented news, and for the old fans. Because this week, I actually saw it on my Facebook feed, because for some reason I'm just blessed by being friends on Facebook with Leonard Boyarsky.
What? Are you friends with him?
Friends with him, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's not the only big name in RPG that I am friends with as well.
Ooh.
I am friends with Chris Avalone.
Oh.
And I think I'm friends with Fargo as well.
Really? You're a big head there. You're
No,
having
I'm
a
just
good
the guy
contact.
that asked him for friendship, and it's like, okay. And I'm like,
All
what?
right, sure.
I touched God. Just...
Starstruck.
Yeah, basically. That's basically it. But I saw it on Facebook. Leonard Boyarsky posted a picture, or actually it was Tim Kaine that posted a picture, but Leonard Boyarsky was tagged on it, of them working together. And Tim Kaine, if you don't know who they are, so basically Boyarsky was the lead designer, lead artist, director stuff for Fallout 1.
Yep.
And he moved on from Interplay back then, during Fallout 2 development, to create his own company with Tim Kaine and Jason Dean Anderson. So those were the three names that created Troika. And Troika went on to create Arcanum, Temple of Elemental Evil, and Vampire Bloodlines. And they went bust after that because, well, they had too much passion for the games and too little passion for the business, basically. It is pretty much that. But, so, yeah. So Tim Kaine was the lead programmer, lead designer, one of the lead designers anyway. Boyarsky was the lead artist and for Fallout 1. So they're like, for me, they're like gods, gaming gods, really. Because, you know, just the Genesis, really.
Yeah.
But, so they're now working in Obsidian, or at Obsidian.
And Obsidian, yeah.
Both of them. Tim Kaine was already working there. I didn't know this, actually. He's a programmer. He loves programming, and he's been working on Pillars of Eternity. That he programs, really. Oh, I got a rare red javelin here for you at Charsey, if you want.
Good evening.
Up there, yeah.
So they So they are both working at Obsidian, and when I saw that, and I was like, what? That's awesome. Yeah, because Leonard Boyarsky was working at Blizzard, and he worked on Diablo 3, which miraculously or coincidentally connects to this very game that we're playing right now. And he was working on Diablo 3 as the lead world designer, and I really like his art style. I really like his art style, although, of course, it doesn't transmit that much into Diablo 3 because it's just the world designer itself.
Yeah.
But he left Blizzard, so I suppose Obsidian offered him... I'm not sure if it was just for the money. It probably wasn't just for the money, but I assume that that's also a big concern. He's getting on in the years, and you'd expect a guy like that, that's such a big name in the industry. It's got such a good portfolio. Arguably the best portfolio of all the guys that have worked in Fallout 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably got a bunch of money for his job, and I think Obsidian is doing very well, probably with all their recent successes. There's the South Park RPG, the Stick of Truth. There's Pillars of Eternity, that was also a big success. In my opinion, it could have been better, but it was a big game, so it's like it takes time to make good big games. Yeah.
And it was a new what is it called?
New IP, yeah.
Yeah, new IP as well, yeah.
It was really one of my favorite games of the year for me, but it still could have been better. And I'm really hyped for Pillars of Eternity 2 when it comes out. Not so much for Tyranny. Tyranny is now being developed, but people are talking about how maybe Leonard Boyarsky is gonna do something for Tyranny. I don't think he is, because it's so late in development. It's supposed to come out this year. Tyranny is basically another Pillars of Eternity with just different story, different gameplay a little bit as well. It's the same kind of game, really, and that's cool. I mean, they're doing what they do best. And those words. You don't know these words. Do you know these words? They are doing what they are doing best. What they do best.
Maybe.
Does it strike a chord? Do you remember what it is?
No.
No?
Maybe. I don't know.
For those of you who followed Fallout 3 development, that's one of the first statements from Bethesda when people were saying, "Are you gonna do turn-based? Are you gonna do top-down?" and they didn't talk about anything. Just didn't want to lose the customers, really. And what they said, we're gonna do what we do best. And yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's why I said that. But
The more you know.
The more you know, yeah. But I'm really happy for Boyarsky at Obsidian. I really hope, since now that the World of Darkness franchise, which is the Vampire Bloodlines franchise, it's now with Paradox Entertainment, the publisher for most of their games. Hopefully they're gonna make another Vampire Bloodlines, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, or maybe they're going with Arcanum too. I think they have the IP for that.
They didn't own Fallout New Vegas anymore, right?
Oh yeah, that's actually a little bit more complex. Bethesda. So what happened? Bethesda just told them that they could make that particular game. It's not. They don't have the rights. It's themselves. It's just that one off. But what happened when Chris Avellone left Obsidian a few months back? Is that I've read a statement from him saying that he didn't see Obsidian doing another Fallout game. And I think that was just basically on how they left. The relationship between the two companies, maybe. And I think, I don't know. It's kind of tricky.
Complex.
Yeah, it's complex. Some people say Bethesda didn't enjoy the result because it was buggy, or it wasn't aimed at directly at their target audience, or whatever. Or maybe just that they don't think that it's gonna be a good fit. I don't know. I don't know what Chris Avellone wanted to say about that, or it's what his perspective was when he said that. How do we get down there? Oh, there's a door there.
Okay, a door there, yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a new Fallout game from Obsidian. I don't think so. And I actually don't think they would make a good game based on
From
just
the
system that they work. Because when they developed New Vegas, they had to develop a whole new dialogue system. Not the dialogue system itself, but just the way they create the dialogue and write it. Because Bethesda didn't provide the tools with what they wanted. So they have like this big complex system. We have a boss here that's killing us. A big complex system that took them years to develop to make dialogues. So that's their focus. That's the dialogue system. And Fallout 4 is really too restrictive in that regard. I don't think they'd have to redesign that whole thing. I think.
Yeah.
But really hyped for that. And so do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, as you say, he has a big arsenal. He has been working on a lot of stuff, and a lot of good stuff, to say the least. That didn't maybe pan out as good as they had hoped.
Yep.
The games that they developed and before they went out of business, the old company there. So hopefully they'll make something great again. I'm really looking forward to see what they will work on together, and hopefully they work together.
That's also a consideration. Yeah, there's no telling whether or not they're gonna work together, especially as a designer, because Tim Kaine is a programmer. And
precisely.
Yeah, I don't know if Obsidian wants to. All I know is if Obsidian wants to make a Kickstarter project with them two as lead designers,
the names are gonna be great.
I'm gonna
for
pay
them.
big bucks.
Yeah.
I've never paid more than $50 for any Kickstarter project. I'm gonna go way above that. I'm just gonna, I want this. I want this. And it's even though I can't really afford it, I don't care. I won't eat this month. That's fine.
That's fine. Who needs food?
And
you
there's
need
a lot
good
of
RPGs.
Yeah. There's a lot of people with the same attitude, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. True.
And that is it for today. Newscasts, slaves to the grind. What will happen next week? We don't know.
Well, we could try to find out. It would be very cool if we will be psychic and find out already what the news will be.
Yeah, the news. But I have some themes lined up for Saturday's Chatcast. Is it Chatcast or Talkcast?
Talkcast.
Never know.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's too new for us.
It's basically. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. We really hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to leave any comments below for stuff that we might talk about, news and suggestions, people that we might bring in as guests, because that's probably gonna happen in the future, or just say hi or say bye. Just leave a comment down below. And that's gonna be it for today. Do you have any last words, Luda?
Yeah, we're glad you joined in, and we hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope you enjoyed the format. We're gonna try to continue with this, and we're gonna be open to all input you have. So just don't be scared to leave a comment and just bashing us if you want to. We're okay with that. We can live with that.
Yeah.
So just be honest.
Yep. Okay, that's gonna do it for today. Really hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I guess we'll see you in a week's time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh, what was that?